I bought this BMW for $1,900.
Get a Jimmy John's Vito, Turkey Tom, or the Pepe, chips and a drink for $8.99 with our summer sandwich savings. Try all natural turkey, or smoked ham, or Italian meats and cheese. The $8.99 meal deal at Jimmy John's. Oh, that's good.
Cars are cool. Rental cars are not cool. Cars can come in all shapes.
I bought this BMW for $1,985, and it'll only take us about 2 minutes to make all of our money back. I know what you're thinking. Another overconfident douche with a cheap BMW and a story to sell you. Well, you'd be right. But the worst part is, I wasn't trying to lie to you. I sold the story to myself first. The idea of owning a cheap BMW is as solid as those old Harbor Freight jack stands. And I've proven that time and time and time again. But the idea of driving a 500 horsepower V10 powered Super Coupe for half the price of what the transmission pump alone costs in one of these 500 horsepower V10 powered Super Coupes is the whole reason it seems like a great idea on the surface. So to try and make sense of this M6, I bought a second BMW and devised a plan that should greatly ease the financial side of all the problems that come along with these cars. So welcome back to the second part in this series where we're going to take this cheap $2,000 BMW and try and sell enough parts off of it to pay for my V10 powered M6. We put up a part out listing for this car on a site called Facebook Marketplace. It's where a lot of people go to shop for things that they don't actually intend to buy. And well, here's how it's been going. Is this item still available for sale?
Yeah, it is.
We've had the car listed for a week now, and even though most of it's still here, we have had a few sales, and we've done a grand total of $150 in parts. Now, it looks like there's quite a bit of stuff missing off the front end, and that's because one of the people inquired about the entire front of this car, and when we showed up with it to sell it to him for that $2,000 we talked about earlier in the video that would only take us a couple minutes, well, he just wanted the underbody panels, and so that's where we got this $150 from. So far we dismantled the whole entire front end on this car and took the wheels off for someone that didn't even buy the stuff. Yes, we made $150, but we are a very transparent channel to tell you all the real numbers. And I spent 50 of that on Sawzall blades to try and cut off the catalytic converters just to recycle them and get some money back. Turns out that the headers in these BMWs are super thick metal, and it's very impossible to do, and you're working in a very tight space. So I wasn't able to do that. I have a newfound respect for the guys that do it professionally. Anyway, that's where we're at with this car, which puts us somewhere in the neighborhood of still negative $1,700 or $1,800 on that. We're still down $8,000 on the M6, so we need to recoup still near $10,000. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a lot more than that because this M6 is way worse than I thought. Now, I bought this M6 several months ago at auction, and based on its listing, I thought its only major issue was with its sun-destroyed dashboard, and that seemed to check out because when the car was first delivered, it fired right up. There wasn't even a single trouble light on the cluster. And while everything ran smooth, its brakes did feel a little weak to the point where I drove it very slow to get it home safely.
I'll let your boy.
Just again, a few months later,
just watching TV.
This thing turned into
I ain't rapping right now.
Park situation.
Talk to me.
So
how you doing?
Put the key in the ignition. Hit the
I'm
start
chilling.
button.
How about you? How you doing? How everybody doing?
I think it's his key. Yes, both of them. All right, here we go.
I'm just watching this the YouTube channel.
Put in the ignition. Foot on the brake. Nothing. I swear, my recent luck with these auction BMWs are making Ferraris look like reliable transportation. Did you guys get the big game across the pond?
Sure did, but if I'm honest, I prefer the commercials.
They were good this year. Did you see that green hypercar?
Mate, that looked awesome.
You know what that is, right? That is Dreamy's Nebula Next 01 concept. I actually saw this thing at CES. They said it's got somewhere around 1,900 horsepower to 0 to 60 in under 1.8 seconds. And this is all from a smart home tech brand. I don't think anybody saw it coming.
Yeah, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just chilling. I'm hard though. Look at the car.
And after seeing the Nebula Next 01 concept in person at CES, I feel like it's the start of something that could help shape the next generation of hypercars. And when we're out here spending days on some of these project cars, it's a great feeling knowing that I've got dreamy smart tech backing me up over at home, just knocking out all the chores to save me a lot of time and keep me focused on what matters most. Dreamy's X60 Max Ultra Robot Vacuum is the best of its kind. It's super strong and can reach anywhere. And their Z1 Pro Pool Cleaner saves me literal hours during the summer months here in Florida. If you want your home to be a smarter home, check out Dreamy over at that link down in the description box. Right now, they've got some great promotions going on. They'll save you up to 52% off some of their best and smartest home tech. This is stuff I use on a daily basis, stuff that saves me a ton of time, and that's why I'm a huge fan of Dreamy. It's clear that they're pushing for a very high-tech future with better automated living, and you can learn more about it again over at that link down in the description. So when this thing wouldn't start, I figured it was just a simple low-voltage situation.
I was gonna freestyle.
So we went to the trunk here and pulled the original battery out before
I
we
don't feel like
swapped it.
freestyling right
What
now.
I noticed some water made its way to the floorboard. Not a lot of water, just a little bit. Everything
I'm
else
just
is
tapping
pretty
in.
clean. And honestly, for a BMW, this is pretty good.
Tapping in with
So you gotta remember,
everybody.
this car's got a fixed roof. Usually it's on the cars that have sunroofs where you get all that water intrusion. So really strange situation. Either way, I didn't think that little amount of water mattered until I looked over at the fuse box. I just pulled one of the easy connectors on top here, and then some water got in here as well. I took every single connector out of here, shot it with some contact cleaner. And while they're not the worst flooded connectors I've seen, there's no such thing as a good flooded connector. So we cleaned all this up, and here, if you look in this foam piece here that holds all the stuff, there's no sitting water or anything. So I don't think a ton of water got in here. Let me see if I can't just pull this guy out. And if we look at the bottom, see how perfect this is? Look down in here as well. So again, not a lot of water got in here. This is all clean at this point. And so what we're going to do is hook our battery up and pray that this fixes our issue. But if not, then we start pulling fuses. All right, back in here, yes, we did take some of this apart to install the dashboard replacement. This was doing the same thing before the dashboard replacement. When we put the key in the ignition, you can see that the stereo lights up. We put our foot on the brake, hit the push to start button. This is the strange part. Right now, we should be going into what's called key 2 or accessory mode. I'm going to push and hold the start button. My foot's on the brake. Really, the car should be starting, but at the very least, it should be going into accessory mode, and it's not even doing that. And then things popped up with the steering wheel lock icon, which is really annoying if you know about these BMWs. I've only pulled a handful of these fuses after we found the water, and they all look really clean. Of course, we've got BMW's beautiful fuse box diagram, which tells you absolutely nothing and how to find that nothing. So this is a power distribution box more for like the back half of the car, right? We're trying to start the car. That all happens in the front half of the car. If you think about the way that these BMWs start, this all happens through a couple modules. The CAS module is one of them, and then it goes through the engine computers. Again, that's all in the front. So I want to think we got a problem with the front, even though we found a problem in the back. Now, there's one other quick trick, though, when it comes to these BMWs, just kind of like a generally known thing, and it's this right here. See this little wire that connects to the battery terminal? All right, there's one. And then there's this guy right here. All right, let's look in there. It looks pretty good. One of those has to be what's called the IBS. No, it doesn't stand for that. It stands for the Intelligent Battery System, because BMW is so smart. They put in this thing that tells the car how much voltage it has so it can work better than other cars. Anyway, I don't really know what it's for, but that in itself can mess up a whole lot of things. As a matter of fact, it's going to be one of the major reasons you'll have either a no start or no crank, no start situation on these E60 generation cars. I forget what they call this one. It's like, what, an E69 or something like that? So now we're going to look for a change in key behavior. We go. We put our foot on the brake. Let that push to start, and there's a big difference. Look at that. We've got a bunch of lights on the dashboard. You saw the little RPM gauge shift up here, which is one of the coolest things about these BMW M cars, is that they limit the red line, or at least tell you to limit your throttle input while the car's cold. As the car warms up, the RPMs actually increase. So anyway, we're going to try that again because that was actually really good. I'm holding this button. I'm clicking it fast. I'm holding it. Foot's on the brake. And we still have a no crank, no start, but we have, again, a lot better key action than we did before. So we can't forget about earlier when we had that steering wheel lock icon on the dashboard. This is a super common and finicky issue with these old BMWs. Basically, if the steering lock is bad, it just won't allow the car to start. So I checked all the obvious fuses related to this, and everything was just fine. Next, I scanned the car with the diagnostic tool and found a lot of different codes, a few of which stood out, like the ones for that steering column lock and another one for the brake light switch. We tested and reset all of this stuff, and everything, again, seems to be working fine. But remember, our car had a really dead battery. At first, it's hard to pinpoint any specific issues here without clearing all the codes, rescanning them, trying to start the car again, and see what actually sticks. After this, we did get a generic BMW trouble code that wouldn't go away for an immobilizer fault. So we did the basics here by doing an engine computer and immobilizer calibration with the tool, but still, it didn't help start the car. At this point, I felt like we were on a wild goose chase. We had trouble codes relating to reasons why the car wouldn't start, but all the live data was great. When you hit that push to start, the values would change. It would activate the different terminals that should be sending the start signal to that engine computer to fire this thing over, but it dies right there. We exhausted all the live data in the CAS module, which is effectively the car's immobilizer, and the engine control module, and didn't see anything wrong there. And so I kind of just started going over into other modules and looking at things. And coincidentally, okay, this was totally dumb luck. Inside the transmission control module, I noticed the hydraulic pressure seemed a bit low. A lot of people think the transmission in this M6 is just your standard automatic. These SMG transmissions are actually manual transmissions. They have clutches in them, and they're just actuated manually using a hydraulic system that's bolted on. I'm very familiar with them because they're on a ton of the Italian cars that we work on. Usually what I'm talking about on this car, which has a very similar manual transmission that is automatically actuated with hydraulics. When I open the door, did you hear that pump?
What it do?
There's a pump located in the back corner here, which primes itself and gets ready for you to turn the car on and drive it. That pump's not priming. That car will not go into gear. And when you think of a manual transmission, what else do you need in order for a modern manual car to start? You need your foot on that clutch pedal. If there's no hydraulic pressure being made, the car can't put its foot on that clutch pedal. That's at least the way I think about it. And it turned out that we were onto something here.
Con Walmart Express delivery tan rápido como una hora, this small backyard party turned into a big summer fiesta. Necesitan una pantalla más grande. When does it start? In una hora? We got this. You're also gonna need a better goalie, but they don't deliver that.
Introducing Mike's Lemons. 3 unique characters, 1 unmatched flavor.
When I wake up in a lost place, I need the power of Old Spice.
What if I don't like my therapist? You'll find one you do. I can't deal with insurance. Rula makes that.
Look at this pressure buildup timeout. Restart test with next. That didn't work. It didn't build any pre-pressure, which is very interesting. We're going to go back into the transmission control module here. We're going to see if we can command on anything here. Let's do this actuation test. General. All right, look right here. This is what's important. We've got a hydraulic pump. That's what we just tested. And it said that it timed out trying to build pressure. Then we've got an oil pump here. So we've also got things that we can change here on the dashboard. We're going to try the hydraulic pump first. Hydraulic pump. And then when we hit active, right here, that should say activate, it's going to turn on the hydraulic pump. So we're just going to listen for it. I don't hear anything. Let's see here. Did it do it? There. Not actually the clutch. All right, we're on the hunt. Heat pump to prime it to start the car, but there's nothing. Up in the air since I've owned it. Right here is going to be the SMG transmission, and this part on the side. Go ahead. Did we just fix it? Hold on, stop. We just fixed it on. Do it again. It's bad. It's bad, but we're getting it to go on. We'll do it again. All right, we dropped this down on the ground after just doing those few prime attempts. Go ahead, see if it starts. Nothing. Yeah, you can hear a pump priming now, one that we didn't hear when we were trying to start the car. Go ahead, do it again. All right, we're going to try this. We got Andrew in the car. I've got the pump plugged back in, and we're going to attempt to start the car. I'll give it a little tap. All right, go ahead and start it. All right, stop it. I'm just curious now, will this car start without me tapping on it? Go ahead, just try and crank it. Yeah, because there's enough pressure. We've got one of the coolant hoses off because we were inspecting things in the engine bay here, so we don't want to run it too long. But there you go, a running M6, and there is no rod knock. That's progress. You know, when I first saw the low pump pressure, I thought it was an issue, but I didn't think it had anything to do with the car not starting. So I reached out to a friend of mine, an expert in BMWs. His name is Stretton. A lot of you guys are familiar with him. And I asked him, could this be the reason why our car isn't working? And he said, definitely. He had a friend that went through the same exact thing. So then I asked him, what if I just take like a hammer and tap the side of this pump to get it going, almost like a starter motor? And he told me, absolutely not. Do not do this. But Stretton also recently said this.
What would Sam Crack do? And then I did opposite of that.
Now, when people first heard this, they thought maybe we had a beef or some sort of issue going on, and it couldn't be any further from the truth. We just have our differences. Stretton's major difference is that his car, well, it's still broken and overheating, and mine, well, it's now working and running. So I better go catch it.
People on Depop really watch your style. Sell your clothes and make it.
Hey guys, I'm Sam Crack, and recently I received an email with a subject line that read 2002 530.